messages we've been seeing on WhatsApp um, about the generosity and the big-heartedness of the Muslim community. There was also comments about a little while ago, there was an issue, I think in Isipingo Beach, about a non-Muslim objecting to the adhan and wanting the adhan to be shut down. So there was a legal matter around that. And lots of non-Muslims started reminding each other that the Muslims are here in service of greater humanity.
Absolutely. We've seen an outpouring of goodwill and good gesture towards the Muslim community, and I must say, it was so impressive the way the Muslim community came together to assist humanity. And it was not just assisting Muslims, but it was assisting people from across all walks of life, religion, race. So irrespective of who they were, and even their wealth standing did not differentiate people standing in the queues to collect a loaf of bread and a bottle of milk. So it was so wonderful. Alhamdulillah, Allah has given us the ability that even in a crisis, we are able to rise above and still continue serving in His name.
Shukr for that. So, as director of Minara Chamber of Commerce, and the focus now is on the reopening and safe passage of goods and people on the N3. What is your role? What are you telling business owners, and how are you supporting people through all of this?
I think you have two different questions in there. So let me just start with the first question or the main thrust of your question, which is the opening of the N3 arterial route. Bear in mind that this is the road that feeds the economy of South Africa. So goods traveling in and out of the country, almost 70% of all containerized goods entering into South Africa pass through the port of Durban and make their way into the interior of the country. It's a very important route as well for export commodities. So both the two major export harbors of South Africa are located in the province, the port of Durban, city of Durban, and the port of Richards Bay. Both of them are situated within the areas that have been affected. So it's not just the opening of the N3 that is important, but it's also the opening of the N2 that is important as well. So both these routes are now under protection of both SAPS and the Army putting in patrol units. We've received the all clears this morning. So goods are starting to move, fuel is starting to flow once again, and trade is starting to commence. So that is the one aspect. From a Minara perspective, we are concentrating on the rebuilding and the re-energizing of businesses. Thousands of businesses across the city have been destroyed, across the province have been destroyed, not just big businesses, but small family-owned businesses, individual little spaza shops, takeaways, supermarkets that have been destroyed. And we are now focusing on how do we get assistance for those small businesses that might not have SASIA cover where they would be able to claim from the insurance for riot cover to cover their losses. But it's also, our trust is on how do we support people to regain their confidence? How do we support them to come through the fear that they've had to allow them to reopen their businesses? We're working together with the Department of Trade and Industry to facilitate usage of machinery in other plants where factories have been affected. So it's a multifaceted scenario that we are facing. It's not just one factory or one area that has been affected, but it is multiple areas, multiple industries, multiple levels of the economy that have been affected. So from manufacturers to distributors to the retailers, and the value chain, the transport chain in between has also been affected. So we are working both together with our partners in the community and community businesses, but also at the same time with the government structures to start re-establishing each one of those facets. So we're working closely with the Department of Trade and Industry, the Department of Economic Development, and the security clusters to start opening up each one of those sectors.
Ebrahim, you have indicated that the N3 and the N2 are the major arterials. Without them being fully operational, we could we could be near to starvation, because they transport much needed supplies all around the country, not only foodstuff, but also medication, etc. In terms of, and we also know, as you've alluded, that that SAPS and the army are now patrolling those areas for the safety of these people. But there are those long road haulers who've probably been wiped out. I mean, those trucks cost anything between 5 million rands upwards, even without goods that they're transporting. What about those people? What sort of help's going to be available? Help and reassurance of possibly safety of lives and their goods. For example, we're talking big numbers here. Will they be able to kind of pick up and move on?
Okay. So currently we are collating, and we're encouraging people to register to provide us with information, so that we have a broader view of the extent of the damage. With regards to the road haulers, we've been in touch with the Road Haulers Association, both the Retail Fuel Haulers, the Bulk Fuel Haulers Association, and the Bulk Road Haulers Transport Association, to understand the quantum of the damage that has taken place in those industries. The information that we've got through thus far is that there has been effect on the disruption of their business, but that not that many trucks have been burnt in terms of the province, and most of those established road haulers have cover to claim from. So in terms of restarting, they would be in a position to restart, but we are still awaiting information as to the quantum and the greater view of the impact to the industry.
Okay, finally, SAPREF, I know, shut down last week amidst all of this violence and the chaos, and there was a worry about fuel shortages. What's the situation there now? Do you know if it's changed at all?
Fuel supplies have been re-established and are stabilizing. Fuel has been coming in from Gauteng, and I must at this point commend our brothers and sisters in Gauteng and Mpumalanga and other provinces for the outpouring of generosity that has come to our province and has assisted us in our need. But in terms of fuel, fuel is now coming back into the province. The fuel supply lines have been re-established. The SAPREF, so many people are not aware that the bulk pipeline that connects KZN with Gauteng region has been on hold for quite some time because of a leak in the pipe. Okay. And therefore fuel has been, for quite some time, fuel has been transported into the province via trucks and tankers, and that route is now being re-established.
Oh, brilliant.
So the pipeline was not affected by the leak. The pipeline was affected prior to.
All right, fine. Just very quickly, for people who are a bit destitute, don't know where to turn for help, whether they're small or a larger business, can they approach you at all for guidance and help?
Yes, most welcome. We will be announcing a help desk, but in the interim, they can send through the information through to the email KZN at Minara MINARA. .org.za.
Good. Thank you indeed, Ebrahim.
They can send the information, and there's a survey that is going out as well. It's a Google Form survey. If they can complete that, it will give us a better insight into data that we would then have available.
Wonderful. I'll accept all of your efforts, inshallah. Jazakallah for talking to us. Assalamu alaikum. That was Ebrahim Patel, Director of Minara Chamber of Commerce, talking about mopping up operations after the trauma of last week. 8:48 exactly.
A strip of